All right, how are we getting on, guys?
Getting on grand.
Hello, hello, hello.
So today we're joined by Stevo Timothy. Stevo, how about you introduce yourself?
My name is Stevo Timothy. I'm a so-called comedian from Galway in Ireland. So-called.
So called. There's a lot of talent in the west of Ireland. So you're known mainly for your Farmer Michael character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Character that I do that I was my least favorite character at the beginning to do, and
Yeah,
it's the one that I'm most known for now. So it's depressing in a way, but that's how life happens, isn't it?
yeah. I remember being a young lad and the parents like laughing their asses off on Facebook, seeing your videos come up, and that still continues to this day.
What age are you?
19.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you make me sick.
What?
I'm twice your age.
You don't look at man.
You don't look it.
I
Look,
try,
looking
I
well.
try.
You try.
Remind yourself.
A life of horrible pain and suffering causes less aging in me for some weird reason.
Well, that's pretty rough. But they say that builds some of the best comedians there are, and then here you are. You know,
Say that again?
they say tragedy builds the best comedians.
Yeah. You have to feel pain, I suppose, to be able to turn that into something positive and make
Yeah,
people laugh because you can't. Sometimes you don't feel like laughing yourself, so it's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
based.
The-
At what point did you start considering yourself to be a comedian?
I still don't really. I consider myself a sketch comedian more than anything.
Sketch
More of
comedy.
a, I suppose, method actor more than a sketch. Not even a
Method actor.
comedian. A
Yeah,
method actor.
yeah.
I like
So,
to immerse myself in the character and be the character, and it's to my own detriment sometimes.
Are you one
yeah,
of those guys that like can't get out of character? Like if someone comes up to you on the set and they call you Stevo, you punch the shit out of them. Like no,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
Jesus.
Farmer Michael.
your Daniel Day-Lewis job. I locked myself in a hay barn for 6 weeks till I could find the character.
First name Farmer, second name Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's fucking funny stuff. I never forget. I think you were in London one time, and you're fucking blaring like black and tans out of the car.
Oh yeah, Camouchi Black and Tans. Yeah, we got
Oh,
stopped by the guards. We got stopped by the police over there shortly before that as well, because I drove up on the footpath near Buckingham Palace. Because
yeah,
the initial sketch, what I wanted to do was stand outside the gates of Buckingham Palace and start playing the song and shouting for the Queen to come out.
you'd be
And we didn't get
shot.
to do
You'd be
that.
shot.
So I didn't get to do that. The police were just like, "You can't park there," and I was just like, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "You can't park there," and we were like, "We're Irish. We don't know any better." He was like, "Go." They were there within seconds. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back in
So
Galway, we don't have these
what
things called
ended up like
footpaths.
so what ended up being my idea for a sketch turned into then just let's just blare it going past the Houses of Parliament, and I'd start shouting and roaring like we're in the home of the enemy, come out,
yeah.
curse
Do you,
words.
do you ever get any slack for some of the things you've said as Farmer Michael? People not being able to
Yeah.
separate the character and you.
Oh yeah, they always do that. It's embarrassing sometimes, or they don't see the satire in it, like I done one
Mhm.
about disabled people in Ireland, and I got destroyed. I got destroyed for it. Like I had to go off the internet for about 2 or 3 days. I was getting threatened by parents of children that had disabilities. I was like, oh my god, they are not getting this. I was actually
Mm.
asked to do it by the Disability Federation of Ireland for Make Way Day
Yeah,
about illegally parking in disabled bays. Like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I thought it was as obvious as hell. I even done this. Like I'll park where I want. You know what I mean? I have a hazard light. So and it kind of backfired. And then people are saying like, oh well, he's disabled. He should be allowed to do it anyway. And I was like, even if I was disabled, it wouldn't make a difference. I'm still fighting that battle to get people to stop using parking bays illegally. So
Mm.
kind of
yeah.
that one didn't go well, and it kind of
No,
backfired.
that is a dodgy one.
Yeah.
Reminds me a
Yeah,
bit of remember when the Niall Horn fans came after Dustin the Turkey during.
Yeah,
how dumb was that?
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
because
idiot.
different nationalities have different humor, and Irish
Yeah.
humor is just taking the
unique.
Mickey out of another, and then just
Well, I got really afraid when I had sketched out the one in my head about Down syndrome people can be cunts too, because I thought that was going to horribly backfire, and it didn't. And I ended up getting loads of messages from parents who were like, "Thank you so much for doing that video and for making my child be human again and be like the rest of us." Because that was the intent of the video, to say they're just like nice and they can be cunts too. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen that one, but the second you start talking about it, I was like, oh God, this must have ended in a catastrophe.
No. And I
No,
was invited by Down Syndrome Galway up to their golf day and everything. So it was like,
that's lovely.
it was nice that people got it. Because I thought it was
Yeah.
going to horribly backfire. Because some of them do, but like you can always go down the safe route, like other people that do videos in Ireland. You probably know what I'm talking about. Just talk
Yeah,
about
we do.
nice little things. But sure, what are you doing then?
They're boring.
Like,
They're boring.
what message are you getting across? Like, I
Yeah.
can talk about points in GA all day long, but fuck that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel a moral imperative that you must speak out on issues. So that's why we've always tackled like equality, black rights, gay rights, disabled rights, abortion. There's no topic that we won't do, and like I feel that that's a necessity. And if you have a platform, you need to be able to speak out. Otherwise, you're a complete and utter sellout. You know?
Yeah, there's a few sellouts out there, and I think we're kind of getting the, you know, who we're talking about here. But yeah, that's what I love. People from the west of Ireland, like yourself and the books, like the Hardy books, these will talk about, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, within reason, like it needs to be done tastefully too.
Well,
like,
yeah.
you
Don't
try
be tone
anyway.
deaf.
Obviously, with the disability parking one, it can backfire, but you know, you have to have a bit of humor too. You know, it's like,
There you go.
I was just like, I was being very outright in my views of like, well, disabled people shouldn't be allowed out anyway because it makes me uncomfortable having to look at them. So I was just echoing 50s Ireland sentiments. That's the way it was. You kept disabled people at home, and you know you didn't bring them out in public because it was seen as a shame to the family. And I was just echoing those
Which is
sentiments.
rough.
But obviously, it kind of backfires, and you know.
Yeah. But the thing about jokes is they can't really be offensive because they're just jokes.
Yeah.
And you're kind of in the business of jokes.
Well, yeah. What you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like, you know, use certain terms or like say certain things about certain people because you just don't.
Yeah,
do it.
it's to a degree. Yeah.
Unless you're being highly satirical, but then people will definitely not get it. Like I was often thinking, if I'd done a video just like I am now talking here, and said something really, you know, people would just agree. Like I do the Mark Jones character who wears a tinfoil hat in his head and he's a conspiracy theorist. And I remember doing the first video and everyone was like, well said, Michael. Yeah, well said. 5G is going to do everything to everyone. And they were like,
oh, fucking
I'm wearing a tinfoil hat in my head. You know. And I was like, imagine if I just done a video as me, how many people would believe it? Like, and it's scary. That's for the future, maybe.
Yeah, no, that actually is pretty worrying. 5G and a tinfoil hat. I was
doing another character called Mark Jones, and they were still going, well said, Michael. Or Michael's right. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Christ, man. You've got a good point there. Also, I like your new hat.
Where can I get one?
Yeah. Shields the rays. It's the Jim Core special.
Yeah. There's those wind turbines in 5G. Give me awful migraines.
Oh, terrible.
So there's something very special behind you right there. It's a silver play button. So I say you're pretty proud of that one. We were talking about that at the start.
Yeah. I want the million one though.
You want the million one?
I want
what
the
do you
million.
have at the moment?
About 3, I'd say.
Yeah, I checked about 2 weeks ago, and about that. That's so fucking impressive.
Yeah, it's YouTube was one of my weakest things at the beginning, and now it's kind of turning into one of my strongest ones. Facebook is killing itself, literally killing it. I get more views on a Twitter video than a Facebook video now. Yeah. I don't know whether it's got to do with Corona or whether it's the page reach has dropped. I don't know, but a lot of people have said it to me that do things like that just views have dropped and whatever they're doing with the algorithm or whatever. They obviously want you to boost posts. So they won't pay you for putting your videos up on their website that keeps people there that they sell advertising through. but they want you to pay to put up your stuff for free. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there you go. It's unreal. Carry on. So yeah, YouTube's probably the better place for it. In all fairness.
yeah, YouTube and Twitter. Twitter if it's football or political. Then the people in the UK, like UK is kind of my Twitter, Facebook is my Ireland, YouTube is my America, Instagram is a mixture of both, all really.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised you said political when you said Twitter, because that's a dodgy throw.
but they've always worked.
Yeah.
I done a video about Jeremy Corbyn being in the IRA because he's such a socialist and blah blah blah. And then obviously I pulled the piss out of Boris Johnson as well. So you get a healthy mix.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what you want. But then, like, you do get slack every now and then. One thing that we talked about a little bit is, like, we're obviously like fucking way smaller than you. But when we get 10 comments saying a nice thing, but the one that says like you guys are fucking idiots, that just gets you too fucking bad.
Oh yeah. It's
You have the same experience.
Oh yeah, because we are evolutionarily predisposed to see the line in the grass. So you could have 1,000 comments and you'll have the one negative. You will sense the danger, and that's the one that'll stick out at you, and that's the one that'll affect you. You know, because we're designed that way, and just, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But you have to learn to kind of, I suppose, overlook it or just block them. Like people always say, just block and move on. You're a comedian. You should be able to. Geez, I only mocked your dead mother, man. You're a comedian. Come on, to fuck, you know. And you're like, what? You know. So I suppose it's easier to say block and move on, but you do see it. You have to see it before you block it. You know. So.
Yeah, and then as you go on with someone like you're kind of following, that gets exponentially larger. So.
Yeah.
Bad.
You get more of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but not as many.
You've dealt pretty well with them so far.
Hmm.
I said you've dealt pretty well with them so far, haven't you?
Yeah, I sometimes call them out and just get them fucked. That's, you know, just be brutally honest. And like, if you're going to come to a public platform and fuck me around, like I know they call it doxing or what, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to fuck you up. If it's a stupid comment, I don't mind. But if it's a threat or something, then I'm taking you down. You know what I mean?
I think I said before, like, people would think about twice about commenting if beside their name was their like full name and address. They would think, definitely think before commenting anything.
Yeah. Too bad. Ever comment on anything? If my address was there.
I've had messages from like parents and everything saying sorry and stuff, and you know, so then I do take it down. But it's sad that it has to come to that you have to, like, you know, someone has to get a load of flack before they might think about like threatening your family or saying you should be dead or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so bad though. Like people saying shit like that. But on a positive thing, you've done a lot of charity work, which is amazing. So the one you did, kind of a funny picture for it. He can't walk, but he's going to cycle.
Yeah, that ended up being the tagline for some reason. But like, I can walk, like, well, not unaided. I can't walk, but I use crutches and I use a wheelchair. So
yeah,
I wanted to initially like do like a 5K or 3K or something on my exercise bike, and then I thought, well, if people are going to be donating, then I can't really be cheating. I'm not giving them value for money. And people were saying like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the thought that counts or whatever. And I was like, nah, I'm going to do it on an actual bicycle on a running track. So that's what I ended up doing, and I didn't die. Strangely, I thought I was going to die. The morning of the cycle, it was 12 o'clock, and it was like the heat was unbelievable. So we had to push it back to 7 o'clock, I think, and then we done it. And I didn't die, as I said. I crossed the finish line, and it was great.
Well, in all fairness, fair play to you for not dying.
Thank you.
So,
well, it's an achievement, isn't it, to wake up every morning and be not dead? You know, it's an achievement.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It's a privilege.
It
is.
It is actually a privilege. But how much did you raise for that in total? Do you know?
I think it was 63,500.
Jesus, that's amazing. Wow.
That is a lot.
And then it just kind of grew. And then I went to, like, in my mind, 50. If I get 50, I'll be happy. And then kind of, I think, it was Seamus Coleman that brought it up to 60, which was pretty apt considering that Seamus Coleman was bought from Sligo for 60 grand, and it's a chant. So it was him that donated and brought us up to the level over 60, which was brilliant.
You must have loved that being an Everton fan.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. And he was chatting away to me on WhatsApp and everything, so it's gas. It's just gas, the kind of people you meet and the people you end up chatting to doing this game. People that you never thought in your wildest dreams would be like friends of yours, or you could be able to ring them, you know.
That's mad.
Yeah, we've had that to a lesser extent. Like some of the guests we've had on, the fact that like we can just like call them now and be like, "Oh, hey, what's the crack? How's things getting on?" It just mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had something awful. First time we talked to Owen Colgan, because I'm a huge Hardy Bucks fan, I was just in bits. I could not handle myself during that interview. And then, talking to him afterwards, it was great.
He's a sound skin.
He is.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? With the characters that you do you base them off like people you've met before, or how did you like get them all?
Kind of an amalgamation of characters I've met throughout my life, I suppose. Bits and pieces thrown in. Like Michael has evolved. Michael has changed in the last 5 years. Initially, he was very West of Ireland, very kind of deep voice. Then he became the kind of squeaky, mispronouncing person, and then he became the shouty kind of Michael. And now it's basically just my accent, just shouting a bit. Like I don't really put on the accent as such anymore. It's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's so.
And people get depressed when they come off to the car and find out that I don't talk like that. Like, what? You know, they're like, some of them feel cheated. You know what I mean? They're like, you have a normal voice. Even sometimes now I'll do a YouTube live or whatever, and they're, oh my God, it's the first time I ever heard you talking normal. And I'm like, Jesus.
Sorry, I won't do it again.
Yeah, you don't follow me much, do you?
Yeah.
So that goes back to the whole people not being able to distinguish characters from reality. It's like,
especially in comedy. If I was an actor, they would. If Michael was in a movie or something, they would.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's a comedian, they always like rush to the judgment that they base it very superficially that you must be like that, or you even get comments like, this will be great crack for a night out for a few pints, and I'm like, nah man, no, I gave up drinking 5 years ago for good reason, very good reason. You don't want to go drinking with me. I'll probably stick something in you if you go drinking with me, you know? So,
yeah. Drink's not the nicest thing in the world. There's not much better things in the drink.
Crack.
As in the drug, or just the fun?
No, the drug.
What was I going to say? With lockdown, what was it? We were supposed to have like 2 weeks of lockdown, and we're like nearly 8 months in. How's that been for you so far? Like, how's it affected you?
Anxiety-wise, it was great because I didn't have as much stress over me and didn't have as many worries, and I could drive across to the other side of the city in like 5 minutes. So it was kind of beautiful in a way, and more people were out and it was friendlier, and the world just seemed better for purely selfish, anxious reasons. It was better, but obviously for work and gigs, them gone, so swings and roundabouts and all that jazz.
It's been rough for everyone, to be fair.
But it looks like we'll be going into another lockdown now eventually. So
by the looks of it, I think we are heading into one now. We're starting college. We're supposed to be starting college next week, and now they're telling the colleges not to let students in for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that'll probably extend.
It did start off.
We'll be doing college the same way we're doing this right now. It'll be a Zoom call.
Yeah.
It's head-wrecking.
All you need is Blackboard anywhere, or whatever you have, and download your lecture notes. That's what I done mostly when I was in college, and I ended up doing grand. So,
what did you study?
Arts. And then I done my master's thesis in philosophy because I really, really, really didn't want to get a job.
Fair enough.
Everything was going grand until the recession hit and all the philosophy factories started closing down all around. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If you weren't doing like what you do at the moment, like you're like a sketch artist, a comedian, what do you think you'd be doing?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I was like I was studying accountancy, but I could never see myself doing that. And then I done a little course on journalism, and then I couldn't see myself doing that either. So I kind of, while I was doing that, is when I started doing the sketches. So then I became an accidentally what I'm doing now, because it just kind of kept going. And at the beginning, people were like, would you do it live? And I was there, get away from around me, or I will block you off my email. And then I ended up touring and going all over the Ireland and the UK. So it was like, what the hell. So yeah, it's kind of, I just went along with the flow, I suppose. It took a life of its own, and I just followed.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, some people don't know what they want to do, and then they just kind of fall into things.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like, you'd be a funny accountant, but I think you're much better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got your talent, and I love it.
Impressive accountant. I'd end up with actually absolutely no work, because everyone would be sent to jail by the revenue.
Jesus.
There you go. Do you get recognized fairly often?
Yeah. Sometimes, mostly good. The odd time bad, but it's the nature of the game, I suppose. Drunken people.
Ever get recognized as the wrong person?
No, initially it was your man that looks like Conor McGregor. That was.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, that was a constant about 5.5 years ago. It was your man that looks like Conor McGregor in the red car. Then it became your man that looks like Conor McGregor that does the Farmer Michael. Then it became Farmer Michael. Now it's just Stevo. So, kind of, my reaction, I suppose the recognition terms have changed.
Yeah,
good.
But at least you've managed to separate yourself from that character enough. So
yeah, I don't think I'll
something.
ever do that fully, but
Yeah.
Which some people tend to find hard now. I know, what's his name? Owen Colgan. He's trying, and he's succeeding in trying to get away from being known as Buzz from the Hardy Books, and now he has like a YouTube channel. He does his own sketches, and he's kind of his own thing now, like,
Yeah, you have to do it very slowly, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot either, and kind of remove what you're known for.
Yeah.
You don't. Like, if I put up a status that I'm killing off Farmer Michael, goodbye. It doesn't do me any good. You have to kind of just slowly introduce new characters, but keep him going.
Yeah.
But introducing new characters then is it's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Experimental, kind of. You don't know whether it'll work or not.
Saddening in a way, because people don't want them and don't like them, and it takes ages for them to take off. And I only got 1,000 views on that or something like that is disastrous. Will I keep doing that? But you're not realizing that. Well, Farmer Michael had that in the beginning too. So, will I keep pushing that character, or will I just cut it after a month or two? So it's hard to know. You know what I mean?
Going back to that 1,000 view thing, you started somewhere. Like, you haven't been getting silver play buttons your whole life. You had to start somewhere. Do you start the whole Farmer Michael thing on? Actually, I'll be honest, I don't know what your first character was. I was too young. But did you start that stuff on Facebook and then go from there?
Public with.
Was what?
It was the first character I went public with. I always kind of done different characters in my head and around friends.
Oh,
it was the first one. Like, I got my brother to videotape me in the car one night, and that kind of started it all. So.
And where did you post it for the first time?
On my Facebook page, I had a satirical site called Galway Daily News. That was kind of relatively successful, and then I started putting the videos up on that page, so it was like your man from Galway Daily News, and then I changed the title to what did I change to? Was it Farmer Michael or something? Or I think and then I changed it to my own name initially, because I wanted it to be all encompassing for all my sketches.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, fuck. Yeah. No. It was. Fuck. How do I continue without saying? It's an interesting history of how you went from Facebook to where you are now. Kind of seeing it, and you wouldn't get the perspective of, like, I was small seeing this, and I'm going up now to see what you're doing now, and how you've changed from sitting in the car shouting all kinds of crack to doing the YouTube, doing bits.
Yeah.
So with the YouTube, when you set it up originally, like, how successful was it at the start?
it just wasn't. Like YouTube was my weakest of weakest.
Yeah, you were saying.
Like it was very like poor. I could look down through the videos and they've low hundreds of views, which is kind of. But I was so used to it. I just kept putting the videos up, and then like I started promoting it a bit more and going onto Facebook and go, hey, follow my YouTube channel or whatever, trying to get people to transfer over, which is hard because people like millions of people have watched my videos, but they won't press the subscribe button. They mightn't be logged in or whatever, or they just mightn't be arse. So like still to this day, about 81%, that goes up and down a few percentage spots, are not subscribed, and the rest are subscribers. So if I could get them to subscribe, over the course of the last year or two, I'd have easily more than 1 million, so.
Yeah, you'd be happy out.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. What you're doing anyway at the moment is spot on. Like silver play button, that's not easily earned. So how many years has YouTube been going then?
Probably about the same amount as my Facebook page, about 6 years, I'd say. Less, maybe I set it up a while after. I think Facebook was the first one.
Yeah. And if someone, say one of your viewers, if someone wanted to do like what you do, what advice would you give them?
Jesus, I don't know.
And have you ever been asked for advice from a fan?
Yeah, a few times. I would just say, like, just start the character with depth. Know where you're going to go with the character.
Yeah.
And have a surrounding story. Have a family for the character. Have children or whatever, or a friend or a wife, or have depth to the character.
Yeah.
Have like your Uncle John or whatever. It's someone to bring in that you're talking in a third person, or you're talking. You can say, well, do you know what my Uncle John said to me the last day? He said, and then you're answering your own question. So if you're doing it on your own, you have that to fall back on. So you always have a bit of added depth to it.
Yeah.
And to try not to give a fuck as well.
Try not to give a fuck.
Try not to give a fuck.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done,
That is
would you go on, Thomas?
That is, yeah, no, that is a very true statement. It is easier said than done sometimes because like, I know for myself now, I care like what my audience thinks about it sometimes. It's like, you can't help it,
And you lose friends over it, unfortunately, because they want, like, you seen, what you're doing, or, oh, I'm sick of him coming up my timeline or whatever, and you just, and then you'll have loads of friends that you didn't even know removed you years ago, adding you as a friend again years later because of what you do. So it's like they want to be your friend now again, and I just block those people because, fuck you.
Yeah, what was it? Like, if you don't want them at their worst, you can't have them at their best, like.
Yeah.
Well, no, obviously not your worst, like, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, so they unfriended me like 6.5 years ago when I was just a normal Joe or whatever. And then like 3 or 4 years after that, they want to like befriend me again. And you're like, just because of what I do, and it's like, nah.
Yeah, it's bad form.
You can stay there in the friend request. There's a few other thousand with you. You can stay there for a while. So.
Yeah. And actually, it's one of the friends requests. Like, you probably get a few messages a day. Like, would your inbox be filled to the brim, or?
Yeah, on my page especially, and I get a lot of message requests on my profile, and I get a lot of people that would add me and just like straight away, like, would you do a video for my nephew and things like that. The odd day you might, but like, haven't been in great form for the last 2 months, so it's just like, no, I'm not even opening messages, I'm not even doing any of that. So
you should say with doing the messages there. Have you ever considered setting up a Cameo?
I haven't.
Fucking hell, because I use Cameo all the time.
Yeah, but people want it for free. They don't want. They don't
there you go.
It's a good point. Now, actually, while you're here, will you say no? I'm messing.
Give a birthday shout out to my aunt Breege, who's 93 tomorrow.
Come on, Aunt Breege! Yeah. But that sounds kind of cute though. Like, people message you like, "Hey, would you say like a happy birthday to so and so?"
I'll do some of them, depending on the person and depending on how they ask.
Yeah.
Like if it's for like a sick relative or a young person or something, you'll do it.
Yeah, you get a message saying like, "Hey, Steve, will you do the Farmer Michael voice for me?" You're like, just fuck off.
Yeah. It's just like, watch the videos. It's there. I do it.
There you go. Yeah.
I do it publicly I don't even like doing the voice when someone asks me. Like, I remember a few times a year, like few times going back, like when we were doing the sketches, and I forgot how to do the voice, and I had to watch a video once or twice. I didn't even know how to be the character up there. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's kind of bad to be honest with you. That's kind of bad.
Yeah,
But, you got it
I haven't
back.
the
That's
greatest
what
memory.
matters. But there's like hundreds of hours of you doing the voice and doing the skits, so I'm sure they can find it somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that I can when I forget.
Yeah, there you go. In case you forget the voice.
think Jared's after freezing there. I don't know. Jared, you there?
He's ran away.
He must have gotten sick of you. I don't know.
I wouldn't blame him.
Sure, who would? Let's. How have you been doing during lockdown, though? Have you been having an all right time? How's it been?
Yeah, up and down, like, but that's the way with everyone, I suppose. I wouldn't be the only one out there or the odd one out, you know. So you have to just, I don't know, try and do your best and try and keep a positive head and get on with life, I guess.
I guess we're gonna be like this for another couple of months anyway. Like,
Yeah, probably into next year and late into next year. It just seems to be the way it's going.
most likely, and he's gone, and he's back.
I think his house is getting busted.
Yeah,
I had a crash there. Sorry, lads.
someone cut off his Wi-Fi.
Yeah, what I miss.
We were just talking bad about you. Anyway, go on.
Yeah,
Sound,
yeah.
you know,
As you do.
from a lad like yourself, Steve, it actually means a lot to me.
If I call you a cunt, it's beautiful.
It's fucking It's sound. Oh god.
I don't know whether you have to bleep that out or whether your cursing is allowed on your phone.
You're allowed to curse. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've been cursing a fair bit.
We're not even monetized yet, man. So we say whatever on this.
We're not monetized.
Welcome to my life on YouTube. When I get that message, that email a few minutes after I put up the video going, your video is not unmonetized, blah, blah. And then you have to appeal it, and then you wait, and then blah, blah, blah.
Just never happens, does it?
How often would that happen to you?
Oh, regularly. Like people, it's weird how people like think you're a multi-millionaire because you're on Facebook and YouTube. And you're like, oh God, if only. If only. I'd have retired a long time ago.
Yeah, you kind of have to educate them on it though. Like, realistically, you're not going to get any money off Facebook.
No, zero.
But with YouTube, with monetization, YouTube monetization sounds like you're getting the big bucks, but realistically, you're getting very little. Like,
I think I read somewhere you'd have to have 1 million subscribers and them watching your stuff to get the average industrial weekly wage in the US.
Fuck.
So that's how crap YouTube is, really.
Jesus.
The boys making big money are the boys that have all their merchandise outside of that and links with other brands, and they're not relying on YouTube monetization. They're relying on like reviewing Pringles. You know what I mean? In their video, or some new game or some new Sony thing. You know.
Yeah.
Sponsorship is big.
Well, there's a question for you anyway. What's your favorite kind of Pringle?
Prawn cocktail.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, Pringles
man.
can't be beat when you want that tasty treat. Sounded beautiful in my head.
Yeah, you're gonna get an envelope there in the post now, like a $5 from Pringles. Good lad. Yeah, just good lad.
Like Supermax, when I asked them, like Galway company, Galway fella doing a cycle, I said, like, would you be up for sponsorship, you know, or send me something that I could raffle, you know, I'll put your name on the jersey and everything. I got an envelope with 2 booklets for €2 off.
That's nice.
Are you for real? Are you actually for real?
That's actually what they sent me.
That's so stupid.
I was so embarrassed for them, and I was absolutely disgusted that they would do that. You know what I mean? It just it was almost like a kick in the teeth. You know what I mean? And like, how would I raffle that? Like, I was expecting at the very least a couple of bob, or the very, very least a free birthday party in one of our places for
T-shirts, maybe
40 kids or something, or I don't know, something Galway United or Galway football or hurling because they sponsored the teams, but like 2 booklets of €2 off vouchers. I was like, Jesus Christ, throw a dog a bone.
Did you have any spare?
Huh?
Would you have any spare? Just for a friend, not for me.
I think they're in the glove box. I think they're
Ah,
still there. I was
Good
going to do a
pleasure.
video where I rip them up and tell Supermax to go fuck themselves, but
that
Well, there
won't work
goes
now.
any chance of a Supermax sponsorship.
oh yeah, but I didn't want it after. Like if they're gonna do that, then they can.
Yeah, with a cause like what you were doing, and they give you
Yeah.
like that, that's actually
Yeah.
insulting.
Oh yeah, definitely. I won't forget that.
Yeah.
Never. Forget.
You'd prefer if they said nothing.
Yeah, because I prefer McDonald's, which is Ireland's greatest fast food chain.
Fair play to you. Yeah, I appreciate your honesty.
I'm loving it. Do you know the guy that came up with the jingle for "I'm loving it"?
Yeah.
He ended
No.
up jumping off a building.
Did he?
Yeah,
Hardly. Why?
Fucking wasn't loving it so.
little strange fact thrown in there just to.
Wow.
Jesus.
I didn't know that at all.
I
Christ.
didn't know that at all.
That is kind of like ruined the entire
That's-
advert for me now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like anytime I see it now and I'm with people, my automatic thought is going to be to tell them that little fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I always think of it when I think of that jingle. Because you think of the Supermax jingle, and it's that stupid thing they've had since the 70s. Oh, I don't even know how it goes. What is it? Oh, tasty and tempting food at Supermax. And it's still the same
Yeah.
ad.
I have a Supermax in my town, and I'll tell you now.
The food
No.
shit anyway.
It's just no. You know,
Do you have any
at St.
vouchers
Patrick's Day, they have like the green ice cream for like the hot muffin and ice cream yolk. That sound once a year. That's the only time I'll go in there.
But it's amazing that they still claim not to have copied McDonald's. And you're like, yeah.
But they,
Yeah, you definitely
they started
did.
like in the same year.
Yeah.
Did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I know he was supposed to do, your man who started it, he was supposed to do a talk in our school. But then he calls the business teacher and he's like, I'm getting fucking ripped out of it by McDonald's. So, he couldn't come down. So, there you
Yeah,
go.
he was a school teacher at one time, and then he just opened a store in Ballinasloe, and that was the start of it.
And then Sloan. That's some name.
Sure. A lot of fast food restaurants, they're all kind of like rip us off each other, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, there's loads of Macs around, like little towns you go to in the middle of nowhere, like
oh yeah. There's,
Mac something Max or Sweet Max or Max something.
McDonald's. And it's like, the Irish name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that many times. I got super confused when I was young, seeing like the McDonald's like curry packet. And I was like, that's not McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of brainwashing. I had a question for you, but then you said the thing, and I can't get it back now.
Is it about Supermax?
It's about there we go. It's about sponsorships.
Yeah.
So with sponsorships for things you've done, or even like for your YouTube, whatever, how's that gone for you so far?
Zero ever.
0.
I've done a few ads for businesses on Facebook, but I've had to turn down a few because they wanted me to do it positively, and Michael can't do a positive ad.
yeah.
You can't have Michael going like, "Oh, this is the best place I've ever visited." Michael has to pull the piss out of the business. And plus, if you do a positive ad, you're going to get 10,000 views. If you do one pulling the piss out of the business, you get 50,000.
Good
So
point.
they almost want to put themselves in the foot. Irish businesses are they're back about 15 years ago at the dawn of the internet. They would still rather pay, 10 grand to have a load of ads in the local paper and a load of ads on the radio, which give them nothing, than have a justifiable reach of maybe 250,000.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's one lad and he's done it brilliantly in terms of advertising. Mattress Mick.
Yeah.
That lad is unstoppable.
Yeah. Oh, his rave music is second to none.
What's his like slogan? Was in the bedroom since something.
Not sure.
Yeah.
He's a gorgeous looking man as well.
Yeah, he is. I love the hair.
I do him.
Fair play to you. Fair play to you. We'll get him on the show and give him a shout. Tell you.
Apparently his
I do anyone from Supermax anyway.
But that really surprises me. Like no sponsorships. Is like you don't want to sell out to them, or you just haven't found something you liked, or what's the crack there?
Well, I've had no one from YouTube. I suppose people see it as controversial because I curse. Even though the vast majority of Irish people curse, they can't cope with that. Like it's weird. It's just because I do it. If Tommy Tiernan goes on the Late Late Show and does it, it's funny and cool and acceptable. I do it in a video on my car. It's not acceptable and it's disgusting.
What do you think that is?
It's just the treatment of comedy in Ireland. People that do sketches are not considered traditional comedians or comedians.
Yeah.
Even though, like, it's really strange because when I started, I was probably one of the very few that had comedians in Ireland that had a Facebook page. Now every one of them had a Facebook page. Then there were little people that do sketches online. Now a lot of the like mainstream ones are doing sketches online. So it's like it's come to the full circle. They're following our code trails now because we're the ones selling out and they're not. So they're getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah. And there's plenty of other sketch artists like yourself and in Ireland. Like, and do you talk to them regularly? Have you ever done like collaborations with them?
Not really, no. Like the Hardy Bucks, I done a few with Old Colgan. I done who else did I do a few? Al Foran, the impressionist from Dublin.
Yeah.
With him, I've done a few with that Fab B guy.
He's great.
Martin Beans Ward. A few of them kind of people. I'd only kind of do it with people I'd like to do it with, if you know what I mean. I don't want to do it if they're trying to up their, social media notoriety, or likewise if they feel I'm only doing it with them for the same reasons.
Yeah, because there's like an uneasy tension in there.
Yeah. And plus, like, there's only so much you can do with Michael as a character interviewing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said years ago, we could have always went down the safe route and didn't curse and didn't do that, and we'd be probably on an RTE show right now in America interviewing people. But we didn't want to do that because we don't want to be sellout bastards.
Have you ever had contact with RTE?
No, we were never on it.
Never.
We're on Virgin Media a lot of times, never on RTE.
Yeah.
Someone said before, someone that had links to them, that if Gay Byrne still alive and doing the Late Late Show, you'd have been on numerous times already.
Yeah. RTE, okay, we have a couple of people on and they complain about where they are at the moment. That RTE is after some kind of people. And like even the Hardy Books are struggling to like say if they'll ever have a season 5 because there's a change of management there that's kind of affected them.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, you ever talk to Peter Cassidy from the Hardy Books?
He would have played French Toast in Hardy Books.
Oh yeah.
He said at a party, he says to one of them, it was a high-ranking person in RTE, he was kind of drunk like, and he says to her, "I bet you suck the colour out of a marble." And
not just to somebody, he said that to the president's wife of RTE.
Yeah, too right.
And they haven't had a season since, so
well,
he kind of blames himself there.
We should never be kissing anyone's arse, but like laugh at RTE and bypass them.
Yeah,
whoa, get big in the UK and be on BBC and Channel 4 or something, and then when they want you back, tell them to go fuck themselves.
Oh yeah.
Don't always close yourself off to little old Ireland. It's nothing here. Be big in the UK, that's where the market is, and then skip off to America. Like, you want to be doing it to RTE for the rest. Like when we were doing shows in the UK, we've talked to thousands of people. They had never heard of Tommy Tiernan. They don't know who he is or what he does.
Really?
That just shows how small and meaningless Ireland is. And to be successful in Ireland means fuck all.
Yeah, but in Ireland it's very easy to be a big fish in a small pond because there's not many fish. Yeah. But you were saying there, like, go to the UK market and then get to the American market.
Yeah.
Like, do you mean that like that's something you'd like to do? Like, you'd like to go to the States?
Yeah, sooner or later. But like, obviously things have changed now and I'm doing it by myself. So it's a bit of a trying to reformat and kind of put Michael in different situations and stuff. So that's going to take a while to get used to and kind of change and alter.
Yeah.
And how's that been so far? Like changing your character around or characters?
It's been tough enough because I kind of don't want to do it anymore, and I felt like quitting. I feel like quitting now. In a while, I won't. Then I feel like quitting again tomorrow. Then I won't again. It's up or down. It's kind of all over the place. Turmoil, inner turmoil.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be tough.
I think we've all gone through something like that. You don't know what to do with it or to keep going or to stop.
Before I used to doing it with your partner who's the straight man, and then when they're not in your life anymore, then you're taking 2 hits because you're missing your girlfriend, obviously, and then you're missing the character that she portrayed for so long and made her own. So when you don't have that, the sketches are simply not as good because you don't have the added kind of element of the boyfriend-girlfriend, battle, the battle of the sexes kind of thing.
But you started off with your brother doing it. Would you just have like friends do it from now on, or?
Well, there's another comedian as well, Paul David Murphy. I'll do it with him, but whether it's going to last or whether it's going to be the same, I don't know. Like, it remains to be seen,
Yeah. Like, would you ever think of like collaborating with people, like you have another, like one of your comedian friends, and they're the one talking, and then you're being the Farmer Michael character, and that would change in and out, kind of thing?
I could, but you almost need a female. You need a female role.
Yeah. That's fair.
You need Kathleen. And without Kathleen, it kind of doesn't work. Because people, like, it'd be like Kathleen still doing them, and someone else impersonating Farmer Michael doing the sketches. You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
I know I'm in front of the camera, but she lays up everything for me. She sets the scene and sets the tone, and her reactions as well to my reactions lead to other reactions. And so when you're without that, it's kind of, you're Laurel without Hardy kind of thing.
Yeah, and even when I was saying to my parents that I was having you on, is that the lad who says Kathleen?
Yeah.
You know? Because that's what they hear first.
Kathleen, and obviously it fucking tears your heart in two every time you hear it, but it's life, and it's part of life, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's a fucking rough part of life.
Yeah.
But, to be honest, you seem to be doing okay.
I'm getting there.
You've been keeping at it. It would have been easy for you to shut down and do nothing. But you've kept at it. You kept hammering at it.
Yeah. Well, it's what I've always kind of done, and it's my therapy, so it's kind of...
And we all need the therapy.
On, I suppose. Yeah.
No matter how hard you think you are.
What I do. It's what I've known for so long. Like, I don't know what I do now. So I'd be probably more lost if I didn't have it to do.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So we're going to finish up in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So what do you think is next for you? What do you want to do with your platform and what you do?
I have absolutely no idea. Obviously, a few months ago it would have been different, and now I haven't even thought about the future. I'm just thinking of the present and what to do at this stage. Obviously, the goals before were to crack the UK even more, because we were selling maybe 10 times the amount of tickets over there than we were here, selling out way more shows over there. We were always doing double or triple shows over there. So obviously, will that happen now? Because most of the fans were fans of both of us individually too, and Everton and Liverpool fans and Liverpool people. So I don't know, will they come to the shows now without that duo, or what will happen with that? And we wanted to go to America and maybe have a go at that, but everything's kind of up in the air at the moment, so.
Yeah, well, the Americans love the Irish, so hopefully that does well for you.
Yeah.
So if people want to check you out and they want to follow you, where can they find you?
Everywhere. Sir Stevo Timothy, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everything.
All the spots.
Just Google my name and I'll pop up shouting at it. So.
You'd be surprised what comes up. Actually, when you look up your name, first thing that comes up is a bunch of charity stuff. So when I seen that, I was like, this is the guy I want to talk to.
Oh, that's a good thing anyway. That's a good thing. At least I look like a decent human being.
well, you may not feel it sometimes, but you are. The stuff you've done.
Thank you, man.
It helps a lot of people.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing work.
Not even just the charity stuff. Just seeing someone who's had your experiences and being able to relate to that helps a lot of people.
Thank you. Well, I don't ever want to be a lie and to be a superficial Instagrammer or whatever. I like to be honest, and I always shoot myself in the foot because you lose followers always whinging again or he's moaning again. But fuck it, do you want them following you? I'd rather help one person than have 100.
I don't agree with people who feel that way about things because it's what you're going through.
Themselves.
Yeah.
They can't face it and they don't want you talking about it. They come for light comic relief and they don't want to be confronted with a mirror of what they're going through. Which I understand in the way people run from their issues too, but I just rather be brutal and direct.
It's a good message though. It's not to be superficial online, and you be yourself. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's to deal with it kind of thing. This is who I am kind of thing.
Like,
Yeah,
you're a good
yeah,
example of what to do and how not to sell out. Because there's too many lads, and and ladies, with their platforms, if they had just kept going like for another 6 months, another year, without selling out to who they did, they would have done a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I always said it. One video retweeted, like you mentioned, I don't know, the Kardashians or something in one video, and one of them just happens to retweet it. Your life could change.
Yeah.
Your life could change in seconds. You could be flying out to the Ellen show tomorrow. You could be on this, that, this, the other. You could be a millionaire next week. You know what I mean? It's you're one video always away from being not huge but bigger than you are, or it could be mega superstar. You don't know.
Massive,
you know, so you're one video away from, anything.
Yeah.
English possibility.
That'd be unreal. Actually, it's just funny about the Ellen show. That's a bit controversial at the moment. People really don't like her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's not meant to be the nicest person to be on set with, is she?
Apparently
I've heard. But you see her come back or something? Thomas, you played it when I was in chat with you the other day.
Yeah.
I can't stand the show.
No, you could never stand the show.
I never watched it.
It's so. There's something to it. It's something to her. It's just.
But now, granted that, if I was invited to be on it, I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
Ellen, I've always loved your show. I've never spoke bad about it.
yeah, especially on that podcast I did. But you have to, if that opportunity comes a knocking, you have to chase it. You know what I mean?
No.
There you go. So, guys, this has been Stevo Timothy. Thank you so much for getting on.
Thank you so much, lads. I appreciate it big time.
So, thanks everyone for listening or watching, whatever you did. Make sure you check out Stevo and everything he does, and take it handy.
Chat cheers.